here's our book, Unapologetic Manifestation. You say that 3 times. Unapologetic Manifestation. Yes, Unapologetic Manifestation is a brand new Unity book, hot off the press, winning awards, and goes right to the center of the challenge of creativity. Living a life that you desire. And when I first joined Unity as a teenager, I learned this affirmation: thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. And that's the truth. Let's say it together. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Now, I don't know what you think about that, but that's called responsibility. That's saying, whoa, what's going on up here? Now, most of this is just kind of, we don't pay much attention sometimes to what's going on in our brain, in our mind. And that truly is the life we're living. Thoughts held in mind, of course, produce after their kind. Now, the brain is actually at work, and it is creating this life. When we focus our positive energy, the neural part of our brain goes, oh, they mean it. Oh, they're not just walking through. Oh, they're not just actors playing someone's part. Oh, they want to write their own part. Anyone willing to write your own part? There's 3, 10, good. What does it feel like to take ownership of your life? Yes, wonderful. Confusing? Questioning? Did anyone tell you you had ownership of your life? I had a few people who hinted at it. However, it was confusing to me because my father told me he had the right to tell me what my life was going to be. And then it was a husband, and then it was someone else. So anyone confused about, whoa, I actually have ownership of my life. I produce, I direct, I contact, I co-create. And that co-creation is a responsibility. It's more than a responsibility, it's a gift. It's a gift. It's like we've been given a gift and we don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do with it. I say these words all the time, all day long, especially on Sundays. I get to. I get to. I get to come here. I get to sing the songs. Paul and I get to go to Costco and get gas. We get to. It's a lot of gas from Portland back and forth every week. We get to make our meals or go out to eat. We get to connect with friends and family. We get to. And we are in ownership of that. And sometimes we want to blame someone. I know that's not true in this room. However, it might have happened in your life that things didn't turn out the way I wanted. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. Now, in college, I had a lot of fear. I had been told I was pretty unworthy, and I made it into college by a scrape. And I got there, and I had this belief that I didn't deserve to be there. That I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't blah, blah. I'd had that little, sometimes loud, sometimes a whisper in my life. I may have shared that before. You're just average, is what I was told over and over. Not you're average, you're just average. And so I believed it. I really did. And I was stunned that I passed. Now, I didn't put much effort in it because I knew I wasn't going to really do well. Well, finally, after a couple of years, I realized, I'm still here. I'm a junior. Oh, my goodness. They put a persona on me that wasn't true. I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying. I had to find me. Anyone else? Amen. Yahoo. All of it. Ginny's all in. Good, good, good. So as we talk about manifesting, unapologetic, I love that word. That's so brave, I think. Unapologetic manifestation. What thoughts am I holding in my mind? Am I manifesting in my life? And is there anything I'd like to change? There are a few things I'd like to change. Thoughts held in mind. Now, manifesting has to do with, I talked a little bit about this last week, the ability to dream. Are you willing to dream? Some of us would say, oh, I'm too old, or I'm too blah, 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 or I blah, 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 blah. We all still have a dream. We all still have a dream. Whether it's Paul and I are visiting Montana to see his classmates and his family in a week or two. That's still his dream. His friends from high school are still tee-heeing with each other. They're still joking with each other. What is the thing or the desire? What is Unity of Salem's desire? What thoughts are we holding in mind that are producing after their kind? So it's not just individually, it's collectively. Now, when you focus your attention, this is one of the next steps in our manifestation process. When you focus your attention and you do it as a community, big things can change. Money flows in. Doors open. Now, I was thinking about this story that I've told many, many, many times. This is the first story I ever told as a Unity to be minister at Unity Village. We were assigned a certain day when there were retreats at Unity Village. And there would be 50, 60, 75 people there. And I was brand new, just a couple of months as a ministerial student. And they would meet on the steps, and you were to welcome them to Unity, tell them, this is where this is, and this is where this is. And then you had a little time. And this is the story I told. And you've heard it. And I always circle back. It's my favorite. There's a story about a man who was imprisoned for something he had not done. Now, the judge and the jury confined him to life in a dungeon. And he was kept protesting, I'm innocent, I'm innocent. His family kept protesting, he's innocent. They take him down these winding stone steps into the dungeon. There's a very small window, and he looks out day after day after day. He's so upset. It's unjust. It's unfair. It's not right. How could this happen to me? You can only imagine that feeling. And every day, morning and night, a tray of food would slide under the door. He would eat the food and slide it back. Year after year, he marked the days with a stick he found. Finally, one day, he's having like a nervous breakdown. He's just beside himself. I'd rather be dead than live this life. This is too much for me. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm so isolated. I can't get out of my head, my anger. I know what I'll do. I'll call the guard down. I'll make a tussle. I'll jump on the guard. He will resist me, he'll kill me, and I'll be done. So a few days later, he says, this is the day. He knocks on the door, the guard comes down. The guard doesn't come all the way down to the bottom. And that upsets him. So he starts banging on the door, banging, banging. And the door swings open. The door had never been locked. the door had never been locked. Now, this is a teaching story. This is a teaching story. So what in our lives have felt locked and never were? Is it a dream? Is it a desire? It is something that we want to do, somewhere we want to go, and what do we want to manifest at Unity of Salem? Now, the door is not locked here. Well, it is, but it's not. It even has, the electronic alarm that goes off. However, this is a hard door to open. And I watch our greeters, they have to squeeze that door just to help someone in. How are we going to swing open the doors? Now, I'm not talking about changing literal doors. I'm talking about who we believe we are. What is our mission? It's the message that counts. Would you agree? The unity message is life-changing. Now, we're not the only one that has this message. Many, many, many spiritual traditions have the same message. This is one of the things that until quite a while ago, we didn't really know. And now we are aware that the Buddhists and the Hindus and I've worked with many of the folks, and I didn't know that the Muslims think highly of Mary, mother of Jesus, and it's in their scriptures. When I went to a Hindu temple, they had a picture of Jesus. Thich Nhat Hanh, the wonderful Buddhist teacher, has at his altar a picture of Buddha and a picture of Jesus. So it's universal. And what is universal? We call it the golden rule. Love your neighbor as yourself. It's in all spiritual traditions. More than a dozen. It's in all spiritual traditions. We're not unique. We are not unique. We are part of this incredible universe of spiritual teachings. And whichever one resonates with us or are part of the world or whatever is the one we've resonated with and grown up with or resonate with today. As long as we understand we're one with all of life. So as we manifest, and we know that the door is not locked, what are you willing to manifest? Because a lot of times the excuse was the door's locked. 3 people went like that. A lot of times we feel like it's closed, it's locked, it can't happen. And we can just take an eraser and go, shoo, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true. So when we get to the place where we can honor that we are co-creators, we are creating our lives, thoughts held in mind, produce after their kind, how do you go about then changing what you don't want in your life or adding what you desire? Now, this is built on desire, dreams. That which you desire can be little, it can be big. So many times in my life, over and over again, just to be standing in front of those retreat folks was such a manifestation of a little girl that wanted to be a minister. Everyone said, no. You're a girl. You can't be a minister. I grew up. You're a woman. You can't be a minister. When were you told no? Think of the times you were told no, or not enough, or whatever it was. Now you can reconfigure that. You're a co-creator. The thoughts you hold in your mind produce your life. So the thought is, be clear about your desire, first of all. Be clear about your desire. Anyone in here fuzzy? We can get very fuzzy. Oh, yes, in fact, fuzzy is such a good place. You don't have to make decisions. You just get to hang out and be fuzzy. Oh, yeah, fuzzy's good. But it does get boring. I've been in the fuzzy house, and it gets boring after a while. So when we're ready to leave that sense of fuzziness, then we say, what is my desire? What is my dream? I can have my dream. I can have my dream. Actually, we are our dream. And we are expanding on that. So as we experience that, then we focus on that. We're not over here thinking about what's happening to them or her or it. We're not thinking about our finances. We're not thinking about our issues. We are focused on this dream. So many times in my life have I been in a place where I was ready to manifest. I told you a couple weeks ago with Mr. Paul here sitting, I was masterminding for this long-lasting marriage. I'd had two and they didn't last for a variety of reasons. One died and one disappeared, so there you go. And so I kept, am I really willing to do this again? Yes. And I just kept visualizing, never in my wildest dreams thought it was Paul Etchemendy. He walked in the door, there he was. It's 40 years later. 40 years later. So then what is it about your personal life, the work life, your volunteer life? What is it over and over with our spiritual community in Lake Oswego and so many in moving from one house to the other, manifesting the house, with the tall ceilings and the large island. That was the last one I was working on. Being at Unity Village for the interfaith gathering. One I was thinking about today is I'd been working with this interfaith team from all over the country, and it was time for the Parliament of World Religions. And we had not presented as a team before. And actually we were told, no, you can't. And we also wanted to have a booth. But Worldwide Unity, the person that was in charge at that time, said no. So we went, oh. Now, we did not give up that dream. And it was about a month or two that they called us and went, oh, things have changed. And you can have our booth, and you have a 3-hour workshop spot. And we had the best time of our lives. Now, little things, big things. What is it in your heart that you are willing to desire, hold, co-create with the universe? Because this is energy. We live in an energy world. We cannot draw it unless we send it out. Got it? We can't draw it unless we send it out. We send energy, it comes back multiplied. I'm going to read to you just a little bit from the book on how it connects with science. So my question is, are you willing? Are you willing? Yes. Oh! Yes. Now there's some little tools. I believe our mind, when we say thoughts held in mind, I believe our mind is our spiritual tool. And our spiritual tool, when we use it like a laser beam, that's what manifests. Now, as when Elizabeth was reading, it talked about fear. Now, that's a given. When you begin to change your thoughts and get focused, there it comes. Hi, you can't do this. Who do you think you are? Blah, blah, blah. There's the opportunity to say, I know you. You know me. I do not accept this fear. I neutralize this fear with love. It's a given when we have a desire to have fear right there. All the times it didn't work out for you, remember, don't think you can. Anyway, that opportunity to just say to that fear, I acknowledge you're there and you are not in charge of me. And keep going and keep going. Focus your thoughts. Focus and remember a time where you manifested a desire. A time, a relationship, a job, a home, a coat, whatever it is that you might have manifested in your life. I know it's happened. You wouldn't be sitting here. Partner, animal, many, many things. So as we go forward, I'm going to read a little bit about the science of manifestation, because that is what makes this book different than the prosperity books we've read before. Manifestation is increasingly supported by scientific research in neuroscience and psychology. At its core, manifestation leverages the brain's natural ability to change and adapt a process known as neuroplasticity. Say that with me, neuroplasticity. Research shows that the brain is capable of recognizing itself by forming new neural connections. This isn't happenstance. This is science. When exposed, the connection focuses and builds. It's like a repeat mental rehearsal. So every time you go back to that affirmation, every time you go back to that picture, every time you go back to that feeling, now feeling is so powerful. Every time you go back to that, it's like a repeat performance. Over and over. It's like a rehearsal. This ability underpinning the value tagging, a mechanism where the brain assigns importance to specific goals. Not the wishy-washy goals. Not the maybe, sorta, coulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Remember that? Yeah. So this is when you repeat, when you rehearse, when you re-energize that dream, that desire, your subconscious prioritizing the next step of your dream and brings related opportunities to you. Have you had that happen? Visualization and emotional engagement is the next step we'll be taking next week. So together we're on this journey. Are you with me? Yeah. We are co-creating our lives and the life of Unity of Salem. This ministry has co-created tremendous things. And now it's time for the new page and to open the door. Now, Reverend Georgie said to me this week on a phone conversation, I think we've just cracked the door. We're going to open the door. How are we going to open that door? It's a big door. It's a heavy door. How are we going to open that door? Because each one of us is going to have an idea. Each one of us is going to, over and over again, rehearse that which we desire in this ministry. Whether it's youth ministry, whether it's more music, whether there's a new women's group starting, whether it's the prayer team, whether Reverend Georgie's starting a focus prayer team. I mean, where are our interfaith gathering? We're working with Jan Michael to create a concert and an event in June. Where is your passion, and what are you going to hold and rehearse with me over and over and over? You're going to see it, and you're going to believe it. I'm going to see it, and I'm going to believe it. You think I'm going to ask you to say that? You're right. I'm going to see it, and I'm going to believe it. Okay. And whatever it is in your life that you're ready to, let's go. Let's go. Because thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. All right. So we're going to meditate. This is a song I asked for. It's one of my very favorites from a long time ago. So find your spot on that chair. And a thought just came to me of all the people that have walked through those doors over the years, 50 plus years, and they're filling this room. I feel that love, that commitment, that dedication, that prosperity, that vision. All the ministers, all the children, all the people who've made Unity of Salem. Breathe into that. That love is here. That vision is here. That peace is here. It is so important that you hold a picture, an idea for yourself personally, as well as for this community. There's more than enough love. There's more than enough power. There's more than enough of us. And as we sit in the silence for a few moments, we feel that depth. We feel the connection to that which we cannot touch or see. It's a vibration. It's an energy field. And we draw upon it. And we work with it. We are in alignment. We are being guided. And we take great joy in this co-creation process. What may seem impossible is probable. And it's more than probable. It is occurring as I speak, for each one of us personally, and for this community.
In this very room, there's quite enough love for all the world. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all the world. And there's quite enough peace and quite enough power to walk throughout every fear. For Spirit, one Spirit, is in this very room. In this very room. Is in this very room.
We own it. We claim it. We are ready. And the door swung open. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Jesus, Buddha, and all great teachers. The one that goes by many names.